Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Monday and happy Canadian Thanksgiving to my fellow Canucks that are celebrating Turkey Day today. Hopefully you do have the day off, you're able to spend it with some family, maybe some friends, and have a delicious feast. So in a few weeks' time, we'll be wishing our American Altcoin Buzz Army fans the same. But today, happy Canadian Thanksgiving to my fellow Canadians out there. The markets are kind of flat, to be honest with you. There's not a whole lot of action going on. We will be, however, taking a look at this retrospective report looking at Q3 of 2020, courtesy of Coingecko. There's a lot going on there. Then we have big news in terms of the PLU token sale. That's the Plutus Decentralized Exchange token sale for PLU, which was majorly oversubscribed. It's been extended actually this time until the 13th of October. So you have until tomorrow. It's not really a major extension, just 3 days, but you now have until the 13th of October until 6 p.m. BST. I believe that's British Standard Time. So you have been warned. You have a few more hours, depending on when you watch this, to participate in the now oversubscribed PLU sale. Altcoin Buzz, we're talking about safehaven.io. We'll bring you some updates there. And guys, if you like this kind of content, as always, make sure you like and subscribe. On Coingecko.com. Again, I'm no liar. As promised, the markets are kind of unremarkable today. We're down 0.2%, so a very almost negligible decrease, but we've been doing well lately, so it's not really something that's a lot of skin off our back. We're down to $363.7 billion right now. So projects are down, a fraction of a percent or a percent or so. With some notable exceptions, Binance Coin up 7.5% on the day, Chainlink up another 4.6% in these last 24 hours, but Bitcoin down 0.6% in the last day, still over 11K, which is nice to see, $11,305 with a dominance of 57.6%. All right, team, we're now looking at the Coingecko quarterly report for Q3 of 2020. That's the quarter 3 report for the year 2020, again, courtesy of our friends from Coingecko. You can read about the extended report here. It's about 30 or so pages. You can dive into things like the founder's notes and whatnot. We're going to take a look at the highlights today, including the landscape of the market, a couple of notable exceptions and highlights that we want to cover specifically. Number one, market capitalization really did continue to grow in Q3 by actually a pretty remarkable standard, 31%. So we saw 31% market cap growth in Q3. That's an additional $75 billion despite everything that's happening. And you could say perhaps because of everything that's happening, a lot of uncertainty in the world leading up, of course, to the US presidential election, some rough waters out there on the financial seas, and of course, the ongoing pandemic that we're all living through. The report continues here. Towards the end of Q3, market uncertainties such as COVID and the US elections in the upcoming month of November re-injected fear into the markets and trimmed Q3 gains. So that is to say, we were actually doing even better than that plus 31% up until really the tail end of Q3. Now keep that 31% figure in mind for the totality of the market and consider that Bitcoin only grew 8% in this quarter. In fact, it reached its local peak in Q3 on August 18th, where it sat at $12,272. We've been talking about Bitcoin dominance, how that's been relatively decreasing when you take a look at the rest of the market, and these numbers really bear that out. Again, the totality of the cryptocurrency market in Q3 grew 31%, and that's even with, unfortunately, some losses at the tail end of the quarter, but Bitcoin only grew 8%. As we've been saying now for weeks and I guess months, technically at least 3 months over the course of Q3, the altcoin gains have been outpacing the gains of cryptocurrency by over 20%, in fact. A major story of Q3 has continued to be decentralized finance and farming as well. And in fact, over $9 billion of capital flew in from various sources in this quarter, propelled, as I just mentioned, by yield farming and by the DeFi scene, of course. So quarter 3 was likely the period of time where capital inflow to the Ethereum blockchain is at its largest to date since inception, likely driven by investors seeking to capitalize on yield farming opportunities with lucrative returns. And impressively, over $9 billion flowed into the space this quarter alone, with Tether accounting for nearly 2/3 of that total inflow. Wrapped Bitcoin, or WBTC, also grew explosively, with nearly $1 billion flowing in, representing a 1,766% growth. And then UniSwap really continues to dominate the decentralized exchange landscape with a market cap of 67%. So just about 2/3 of all the activity in that space is dominated by UniSwap. And it should be noted that that's a figure that jumped up sizably from 47% the previous quarter. So in Q3, the DeFi and yield farming hype pushed trading volumes on decentralized exchanges to new all-time highs. Monthly trading volumes on the top 10 decentralized exchanges increased from about $3.8 billion, which we saw in July, to over $30 billion in September. That's nearly a tenfold increase. In fact, it's a 700% increase. 700%, not in any one particular project or coin or token, but in the total activity, the trading volume across an entire industry. That is insane in just a few short months. Throughout this period, UniSwap and Curve both remained as the dominant trading avenues, accounting for 80% of the DEX market share by the end of Q3 2020. A new contender did emerge, and we covered them. We're talking, of course, about SushiSwap, which is a fork of UniSwap. They managed to grab up 8% of the market share by September, but it remains to be seen if they can continue to innovate and attract traders and liquidity providers alike. Guys, there is a lot more to this Coingecko report. I would highly recommend, if you have the time to sift through it, take a careful look at some of the trends that we've been discussing here and really dive down into why it is that we're seeing what we're seeing. Again, it's not a terribly long report. It's about 31 pages and is really broken down in the form of almost a PowerPoint presentation. So you can find it here. We'll link to this in the description below. Market data, analysis, crowd-sourced insights. If you want to get your copy, you can do so here. You can also sign up to the Coingecko newsletter if you include your email address here. If that's not for you, you can also just take a look at the link that we include and get your PDF version of the report. Again, I said 32 tightly packed pages. So look, it'll take you a half an hour or so, maybe 60 minutes to read through. If you're in this space, it's something that we would recommend you do anyway. A lot of great information here. So kudos to our friends over at Coingecko on this stellar report. See you on the fourth quarter review. Okay, big news for all the PLU fans out there. We have the PlutusDEX token sale, which has been oversubscribed and now extended. Odd Gems here on Twitter. The recent PLU sale was hugely oversubscribed in just 48 hours, and many still looking to participate for the 40% bonus. So the team has decided to extend the sale until Tuesday, that's tomorrow, the 13th of October, to accommodate this demand. That's a very strong sign for PLU. And he adds that he's looking forward to it here, quoting this particular tweet from Plutus at Plutus on Twitter. Make sure you're following. The PlutusDEX token sale for PLU is now oversubscribed. We reached our target from just 200 participants, and there is still a backlog of almost 1,000 being verified. Talk about oversubscription indeed. As a result, we will be extending our token sale to accommodate the overwhelming demand. Guys, here are the details of that PlutusDEX token sale, which is now being extended. You can take a look at, some of the numbers and what it means to be oversubscribed and that backlog. Over the last 24 hours, we have seen a huge surge in people going through the Know Your Customer KYC process in order to pledge. However, there are currently over 830 participants in the queue waiting to be verified, and only under 4 hours remaining until the sale ends. Needless to say, not all of those individuals were served, but here's the good news about the extension. Many of you have expressed your dissatisfaction with the short 3-day sale period, and in line with this, we have decided to accommodate all our queued participants, all those 830 in line, and extend the sale for a further 3 days until the 13th of October, Tuesday at 1800 BST, which I believe is British Standard Time. I think sometimes it's referred to as British Summer Time, but nevertheless, you have until the 13th of October, depending on which time zone you're in. Make sure that you're up to speed with when 1800 or 6 o'clock p.m. BST time is, to make sure you are not cut off. So hey, kudos to all those 830 diehards that stayed in line, that stayed queued up. If this affects you, make sure, again, you action your options between now and the 13th of October. Kudos to Plutus and PLU and their team for accommodating fans with the token sale this way. It's nice to see. Okay, at Altcoin Buzz News, that's a handle that we don't always reference, but you should make sure you're following. Again, at Altcoin Buzz News here on Twitter. We're talking about Safe Haven. Safe Haven IO has been a busy fintech firm firm with a number of partnerships and projects being put into place. You can read more about that here on Altcoin Buzz. And again, keeping in mind the direction of the market, which was up just about a percentage point or so last time we checked, now up 1.4%. With that in mind, we see that Safe Haven, ticker SHA, is up 12.8% on the day to just over 0.3 cents US. It's had a very nice 24 hours and an even more handsome 7-day streak here with some very positive price action, very much in response to some of this news here. So recent news on Safe Haven SHA, this article by David. Safe Haven has been a busy fintech firm with a number of partnerships and projects put into place. Going through some of the updates quickly here, Safe Haven launches Inherity Community Edition. So Inherity represents the first digital inheritance solution that is fully decentralized and launched only 2 weeks ago. Blockchain experts can now have access to this digital inheritance solution by Safe Haven. Vulcan has also acquired Cometverse from Safe Haven. On the 3rd of October, just about a week ago, Vulcan announced that they have successfully acquired Cometverse from Safe Haven. And Cometverse is a marketplace opened up by Safe Haven on the VeChain ecosystem. Vulcan here with this tweet on the 3rd of October. We are happy to announce the acquisition of Cometverse from Safe Haven IO, with Vulcan leading the way with NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and dApps on VeChain Official, and Safe Haven IO focusing on their groundbreaking Inherity. It's a perfect match. And we covered this a few days ago. Safe Haven, we're also excited to announce, has now allowed for fixed APR staking for SHA holders. Logino Dujardin, who is the CEO of Safe Haven, announced that after the Crypto Farm event, which took place on the 4th of October, most holders became willing to stake their SHA. You may remember this tweet from the 1st of October. I guess we voted yesterday. Staking with fixed APR for all SHA holders is coming. You ask, we delivered. And then in other news, Safe Haven is currently in the process of acquiring another DeFi platform. This from the 4th of October. Fast forward a few days. In the flash update, we stated that we are in the process of acquiring another DeFi platform that will run on Binance Smart Chain. The platform will bring SHA and BNB utility and at the same time generate transactions for our loyal node holders. So there is certainly a lot happening with Safe Haven, and certainly there are a lot of reasons that have bumped the price up as much as we've seen in these last 24 hours and during the last week. For a detailed interview, about a 30-minute or so sit-down exchange with the CEO of Safe Haven, again, Logino Dujardin, check out this link, which is included at the bottom of David's article here. We sit down with Logino for a rather lengthy discussion and a back and forth that you may want to check out if you're a fan. Well, hey guys, that about wraps it up for today. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels, and don't forget you can sign up for our Altcoin Buzz newsletter here by including your email, your full name, and your country. You can also include your mailing preferences here depending on whether you want to receive information weekly or monthly. That's our weekly newsletter or our monthly e-magazine. Either way, keep checking back into the website altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest news and updates. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed today's video. Best of luck if you choose to invest on this Monday, guys. Once again, happy Thanksgiving to the Canadian members of our Altcoin Buzz army. Stay safe out there as always, everybody, and we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.